pH. pH is something that is closely monitored by those folks growing with synthetics. A lot of people that say you have to have that pH in that certain range in order for the plant to uptake. Now, on the organic side of things, you hear a majority of people saying they ignore pH completely. What are your thoughts on that?
I think if they are growing organically with healthy root zones, their non-caring is well-founded. The root zone ecology is there to provide the ideal conditions for that plant, and if it's set up correctly, it will. Even in hydroponics, we're starting to come around, most people are starting to come around to the fact that it's not this insanely precise range that you have to be in. It's a fairly wide range because even in an inert setting like rock wool, you still have endogenous cultures, like cultures in the air that will land in that root zone. And as they live and die, they acidify the area. They do cellular respiration and push out CO2 as well, which goes into the substrate water and acidifies it. So there's lots of pathways naturally for your media and root zone to balance its pH out. Absolutely, you don't want to water outside of the range of maybe like 6 to 7 or like 5 to like 7.5. But within those ranges, typically the root zone can recover as long as it's not like a prolonged exposure to like a wild outlier pH. When it comes to mineral nutrition, guys, obviously they'll add phosphoric acid or potassium hydroxide. With organic production, you can still do pH adjustments pretty easily. You add things like dolomitic lime to the substrate if you need a little bit more basicity. There's certain fertilizers, like Down to Earth makes a good acid mix that's acidifying. You can even add things like citric acid, which you can buy OMRI listed, at a small rate with whatever nutrient or top dress formula to add a little bit of acidity. Sulfur products are a great way to add a little bit of acidity into your soil and kind of increase that root zone ecology. So yeah, you need to adjust your pH in an inert situation more, and you definitely don't have to worry about it as much in a soil setting. But it is important, but just know that if you have a healthy root zone ecology and your plants are set up with a good substrate or media, then the pH will balance itself out as long as you're not wildly out of the range of typical like rainwater or natural water that we'd find standing on Earth.
So if somebody's water source is over 7.5 pH and they're growing with organic inputs, do you recommend that they pH down that water before doing the soil drench, or could they just add in that water that's above 7.5 pH?
That's a tricky question. I want to know what else is in the water, if it's just bicarbonates or if it's sodium bicarbonates, or if it's just like standard, like typically if your pH is that high, then that also means that your total dissolved solids are high too. So I'd really want to take a look at the quality of your well water at that point. If it's just like, say, calcium and other kind of beneficial kind of secondaries that are, and it's just a bunch of bicarbonate bringing it up, as long as you've amended your bed correctly, there should be no problem. If like, say the water has this amount of bicarbonate in it and you're going to apply this much water to that land, then you should maybe know how much sulfur you want to amend to that bed so that over the course of that watering year, you're going to have enough of a buffering capacity naturally built into that soil. Things like that are considerations you have to do before and after even the watering happens to answer something like that, I feel.
This clip is brought to you by AC Infinity. Use discount code MrGrow at 15 to save on any of their products.